Hello, and welcome to this new episode of Far From Home, a talk with a friend abroad. I'm really happy to see here an old friend, Sara. Sara is Italian and now she lives in Serbia, but she is a Balkan globetrotter. So, welcome, Sara. I'm really happy to have you here.
Good to see you after so many years, although I would have liked to see you in Malta, not
Yes,
here.
I know. So let's jump to the first question. That is how you ended up in Serbia, and also I would add why you are the Balkan globetrotter, if you can share with us.
Oh, how it ended up in Serbia. How much time do we have?
Half an hour in total, but you can
Okay.
use
Oh, Mama
all
mia.
the time.
So there are two episodes on how I ended up in Balkan, but I would cut the first episode and I would go directly to the second. We haven't met for a long time, but I spent 2 years of my working life in Italy. And then I decided that it's not for me. First of all, because I'm too much globetrotter. I need to move,
Yeah.
and the idea of having a steady job in Italy, although the concept of steady job in Italy is, oasis, but I got it, but it really didn't suit me. So I went back to hit the road. And my natural inclination goes somehow to Balkans. I ended up in Belgrade because it was let's say, the easiest for me work-wise and business-wise, being Belgrade, the let's say, capital city of the ex-Yugoslavia. There are more like job offers. And I just wash my clothes in Belgrade. So my wash machine is in Belgrade, but actually, so my home, the concept of home is where the wash machine is.
Okay.
It's more or less like that for people who have decided to work in my field, which is the music business, music and entertainment and event organization. So yeah, the wash machine is very good, this quality, very quick and silent, and is located in Belgrade.
Amazing. So I will ask you another question, because I remember when we met, you were already actually the Balkan expert, even if we were young, let's say, and you have already traveled there, like friends there, work a little bit there or with the Balkans. And I remember that we talked about this 15 years ago, and now I'm asking you the same, because as we mentioned before, the situation unfortunately isn't changed that much, and is that the Balkans are still unknown. So they are close to Italy, to like the Western Europe, but they are also unknown, or they are considered as an homogeneous region where something strange happened, or a specific kind of music or culture or entertainment or problems comes to say Western Europe. But based on your experience and the complexity that you have seen, you and lived with, can you tell us a little bit more about, let's say, the ignorance about the Balkans, but also the complexity of the Balkans?
Well, Balkans are complex and easy at the same time. It is the general mistake which people are having while approaching the Balkans is trying to simplify. But it's more or less, if you try to simplify Italy, it would be the same. Italy is a complex, I don't know, evolution of many culture and many let's say, complex historical happenings. Balkan is just the same, but for some reason, when you cross the Adriatic Sea, I don't know, it's probably because of the language or because of many population crossing there. Like, people are more prone to try to understand Italy because language is easier, is melodic, there is the sun, there is the sea, there is a lot of coasts, there is a lot of history, which is appealing for foreigners. But which is valid also for the Balkans, but maybe also because this st in the language is complicated and there is a lot of international interest there crossing, and not really always matching with what the media are like reporting to the West. So it is complicated, and people don't like complications nowadays. 15 years ago when we met, people didn't like complications. Now, even less. So I don't see any progress in making the Balkans more understandable nowadays. But all people I know who have traveled there at least once, or for some reason met the music or some musicians, or they went to some concerts or some movies, they are all in love with Balkans. So it is once and forever. The only problem is starts with the beginning. So if this once is happening or not. Yeah. But if it is happening, I don't see any person not wanting to come back or to know more, or start learning the local languages, or buying rakia, or going to some disco party where there is the music. I mean, it is really contagious. So from my point of view, it is also my little secret island where, I don't know, I have developed a decent career there, thanks to my newest job. And this is totally unknown in Italy. So while I'm giving interview, being on the newspapers, or anyway being one of the significant actors in my sector there, in Italy nobody knows anything about it. So I can always swingle to one place to the other if I want confusion and I don't know, liveliness and happiness. There is Balkan. If I want to take a break in Italy, nobody knows about anything about it. So there is negative side and positive side of this Balkan not being known. Main artists are anyway known. There is a lot of there are many interesting things happening. Unfortunately, we are missing that, but okay. One of my past, I don't know, how can I say, one of my past targets in life was to make that culture more known abroad. Now I keep it for myself. I also changed my role. I used to be a band manager, which is trying to export the music. Now I'm more importing foreign music in the Balkans. Of course, never neglecting the local culture and local artists, regionally speaking. Also, another question, I remember us talking about this many times. What is Balkan? What is not Balkan? And then there are some other population which become Balkan after 3 rakias. You know, it's like they are not Balkan until they don't drink, but at the second glass they become Balkan. And yeah, I quote a band from Bosnia and Herzegovina called Dubiosa Collective, which this song says, "When I taste rakia, in my head anarchia." So sometimes I find more Balkan the Slovenians than the Macedonians. It really depends, and it is so complex and so, you know, it's something you need to discover. It's a bit stupid to talk so much about it. It is to, you know, take a train, and if the train is going, you go there and you try just to enjoy your life. It is like a bit like South Italy in 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. There is still much more the sense of family, of the festivities, or of the traditions, but also on the other side, no. So it is everything and its contraries. Yeah. Really hard I think the audience will be confused, but I'm happy so they can go travel there and try to figure out what this crazy person was explaining to them.
Exactly. No, I totally agree with you that like taking the trip and go there and explore a little bit is the best thing, also because they're close. At the same time, as you probably may know, it's also they're close, but it's complicated to reach by train or bus, because it's true that then you come to the border between Friuli and Slovenia, then it's complicated. It's like there is, let's say, more connection with like between Italy and France, that Italy and and the Balkans, and it is like,
yeah, but there is Flixbus.
now there is
Before
Flixbus,
COVID
yes.
used to be, but there is still a very unconventional way to travel the Balkans, which is by minibus, private, but they're private but public. In the sense they're like available for everybody. You just call somebody and you go with them. And I just came back in the past COVID travel. I came back from Serbia to Italy, for example, by this minibus. In my case, it was Belgrade, somewhere near Verona. I even don't know where I landed, where they left me, I don't remember. And I just was waiting for them under the bridge, and somebody called me, they will come to pick me up, and each minibus was passing. I was like looking if it's them. I don't know how they know it's me, by the way. Mystery. You don't need to specify too much. And we sat on the minibus, and there was like a bunch of women I've never met in my life. Somebody as the husband in the chance. Complicated stories. What I know that at a certain point everybody was giving a piece of burek or sharing some coffee, or at the end we came to Verona. We were all friends, and I am still in contact with 3 of these women. If I travel in Italy, this will never happen to me. So yes. This is something unique in if it is happening now in the Italian train that somebody's talking to you. If it is a man, you're gonna think he's a stalker. If it is a woman, oh, she's annoying, or what does she want? Maybe she wants to steal my bag. And instead, I remember on the when we made the stop with this bus, I gave my bag to one of these women while I was using the toilet. Said, please hold my bag while I'm there. So this is important, actually, cultural difference. I wasn't afraid for a second. Probably I would have been afraid elsewhere. Yeah. Hello? You hear? Okay.
Yes. No, I totally agree. And I wanted to just ask a question, and then we'll speak about more the challenges during COVID, also for like the industry you are working. But we met because we did together the master in intercultural and interreligious conflict management. You already knew some like languages of the Balkans. I know, how many languages do you know? Like 8, 10 now?
I'm 7.5, let's say.
And but there is something that maybe was not a cultural shock for you, but if you have to share with someone something cultural that is important to be aware when living in Serbia or going to Serbia, that is not only about...
Well, I wouldn't talk politics. Mm-hmm. Because it's so complicated, and usually we are very bad informed by the media about what is happening there. So it is very likely that you turn into a gaffe if you mention, the wars, or if you want to express your opinion about the last elections. I would rather not do it, or just let people speak and see their point of view in order to gather more information, which we probably don't have. Yes. So I don't speak for myself because I read the media there, and the more living there, I more or less understand the situation. But I think I would not talk politics. That's my advice.
It is an advice that we can use also for other countries, because I really don't think that we don't really know about politics in other countries. If you don't live there, it's really complicated that you are aware of everything there. But even more in some countries where you don't speak the language, you don't have the media in a language that you know. So
there are open questions too, which it's not up to us to solve. Exactly. There are people who are more, like, say, instructed to do this than us.
Exactly.
The third floor rakia, people want to speak about something, and then you forget that you probably are in let's say, Bosniak house where the majority is Muslim, and you mention something you shouldn't. And it's not important to talk about those things while you're visiting such an interesting country.
Exactly.
You can talk about something else.
Something else, yes. So then COVID came, and how was for you, like, professionally? the sector, and also maybe personally, if you were there and there was different than in Italy, how was it?
First of all, I started to do my wash machine always in Belgrade, which is for me enough difficult. So the life is turning around the wash machine. And yeah, I live by myself in an apartment there. And from being a globetrotter, I became a parked old panda. Spending days in pajama, wondering what's going to happen. Of course, the live entertainment is the first sector which is going to suffer out, together with tourism, actually. Of such an epidemic, and we didn't know how serious we should consider it. But from my point of view, when I was in Serbia, I already saw what was happening in Italy, so I took it very seriously from the very beginning. The lockdown has been quite serious there, and it was seriously managed, even too much. It was very severe. And yeah, for us it means that since March we are working like Penelope. She was sewing the, you know, the thing, the tissue for the police to come back, and then during the evening she was doing redoing this again. So we are just working and reworking, thinking and rethinking, and trying to see solutions. Things are developing very quickly. So we now think about the future of music, maybe on streaming, or by offering to the audience unique experiences by shooting very extraordinary concerts. And everything is very time consuming and energy consuming, because you need to think of something which doesn't have an history, and you don't know if it's gonna work. And you know, the kind of tension that you always have when you have events is changed. Yes. And we don't see this going any better till next spring. So we are, since March, prepared this to last at least 1 year. Yeah, so I was in Belgium talking to the walls, started to learn Arabic. I succeeded now in writing something. I don't know why Arabic. It's just that it is energy consuming, and I wanted to take back the manuality of doing something. Like, I think that writing is very important, and people now just type. Yes. And through the exercise of writing, many emotions are going out, and especially with Arabic, where you need the concentration to know which letter is going to bind to the next one, because it is like that. So you write the letter differently if they're at the beginning or in the middle or in the end. So all this mathematical exercise and exercise of throwing out emotions somehow helped me. Then, as soon as I could leave, I went by minibus with my friends in Verona and made new friendships. And I plan to go back to Serbia anyway quite soon, and let's see what we could do there. And I miss it a bit. I mean,
yes,
too much pasta here. I don't like eating too much pasta.
Yes, I know. I agree. I think, yes, just what you mentioned it is interesting, because then event is also a sector that has to be innovative, but now is really the time when you really have to innovate also, because there is a need. But as you said, there's no history on what you are testing or creating, and you don't know, but you have to plan already till spring at least, and we are living in this uncertainty, and some sectors even more than others, so like tourism and events. And then
and everybody tends to think these are sectors which are unnecessary. It's important just to have the bread on the table and, I don't know, the full fridge. But then it's not true, because in these moments when you are sad, you're listening to music and watching movies, you know, dreaming about having a travel. So it's not that unnecessary in the end of the day. Of course, it is primary to eat, but still, in the Western world, we have the attitude to have also other habits, at least. So we are not that essential at all. And yeah,
that's so true. And you already answered a little bit about the, like the resources that you found during COVID, and you just said that you just started learning Arabic, and it was interesting. I think some other in the talk they mentioned that also just they need also this time of concentration in doing something that was like practical. So even cutting the vegetables was something that helped the concentration, or like doing something and at least not thinking about the problems like COVID or everything. But is
But
there
I don't know about you, but did you spend a lot of time cooking unnecessary dishes also? I don't know.
not like I was not cooking before COVID, so I actually started cooking because I was kind of forced to, because I couldn't go out, and I prefer also not to. So I started taking care of myself, even related to food, and that was good. But I was not one of the one like going and buying a lot to survive. But
I was even violating the tiramisu, you know, like ordinary tiramisu, strawberry tiramisu, cherry tiramisu, which doesn't have anything to do with tiramisu, but still, like, you know, I was really exaggerating
yes.
in my kitchen activities.
Yeah, I was on a lot of banana bread. That was easier than tiramisu. Tiramisu is the next step for me. I haven't tried.
Yeah, there's time.
There's time.
Hopefully, you don't need another epidemic
No,
in order
exactly.
to work. Okay, please don't.
No. And any other research that maybe you found or you discover that you had actually that skills or that resources to go through the pandemic, or
Honestly, no, because I always cook. So I spend my time by working because we had smart work at home, and then, you know, going to shopping was already enough challenging because of disinfecting everything. And then we had a lockdown. Like after 6 o'clock, we were not allowed to go out at all till 6 o'clock next morning for no reasons, unless you were heading to the hospital. So at 6, I would learn, let's say, some Arabic or cook something and try to go to bed.
yeah.
That was really, really boring because of this, you know, limitation of time in which you could have a walk.
Yes. But but there is something I want to mention, because I think again when we met you were ready, and that was also I think thanks to your international experience. You had that like great problem solving skills. So it's not that there is a problem you're not able to solve it. I think you are really a person you can like think also outside the box to try to like solve the problem or find a solution. I don't know if I'm reading.
Thanks for that. You're not the first person who's mentioning this skill, and I appreciate this to be repeated. But there is also this. Let me be a bit like traditionalist, you know, that I come from southern Italy. There is this South Italian way to accept destiny, which probably is a bit less spread in the in northern Italy. Sorry, guys, if I'm generalizing, but sometimes generalizations are just funny. In South Italy, there is more this acceptance, you know, of things happening, and yeah. So the problem solving combined with
The good
um,
resource.
this resource probably helped me. But after 3 months, there was no South Italian acceptance, which was anyway. I mean, I just went to that mini bus and went to Verona, and in Italy it is a bit better because you are not locked in an apartment. There is countryside that could, you know, take care of the garden, of many other activities, which was incredible after 3 months. Lucky to be here. Many people are not with us anymore. Even a colleague from us in Serbia died with 39 years old, completely healthy of corona. So we're complaining about you know, how to cook and what to do, but there are people who are just paid a higher fee to this pandemic than losing the job or losing the mind.
Absolutely.
This should be you know, repeated.
Exactly. Yeah, we should remind.
Reminded.
I totally agree. And so we're almost at the end of our talk. Now there is, I know that again, also this was complicated, but a message to the country of your heart in the language of your heart, and
Ooh,
people to choose one.
okay. As you know, I have many. I lived in several countries, but I will dedicate my message to my current country, which is taking care of my wash machine at the moment,
Yes.
and also because it is the country in which I lived the longest, which is Serbia. I lived in Serbia 3 years previously, and now 3.5 years. So it is the country which succeeded in appealing me the longest. Which is Serbia. So veliki pozdrav za Beograd I nadam se da ću se uskoro vratiti. Shall I translate?
Yes.
No?
Yeah, no, yes.
So big greeting, many greetings to Belgrade, and I hope that I will come back soon.
Good. I hope the same for you. And also to have your washing machine and start traveling again and working again. I really hope and wish you to.
Put some stamps on the passport.
Also. Thank you again, Sarah, for being with us and share. Was really a pleasure. And
I hope you enjoyed.
Yes, I'm sure. And we also will learn.
Visit the Balkans.
Exactly. And if you want to visit the Balkan, contact Sarah and she will help you and give you a lot of.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye bye.